It really feels like one day artificial intelligence was this sci-fi concept, something way off in the future. And then, bam, overnight, it was in pretty much every classroom, whether we were ready for it or not. The arrival of powerful generative AI like ChatGPT has been a total game changer for K-12 education, and it's left pretty much everyone, teachers, students, parents, scrambling to figure it all out. So today, we're going to break down this new reality.
And this quote from a high school physics teacher really just cuts right to the heart of it, doesn't it? This isn't just about whether a kid can use AI to cheat on their homework. No, this is about getting students ready for a future where knowing how to work with these tools is a basic fundamental job skill. The stakes here are incredibly high. The real question isn't if AI belongs in our schools anymore, it's how we're going to prepare our kids for the world that AI is building right now.
Okay, so let's make sure we're all on the same page. When we say generative AI, what are we even talking about? Well, it's the tech behind tools like ChatGPT or Midjourney. And a good way to think about it is this. A search engine, like Google, finds you something that already exists. It'll find you a picture of a cat, but generative AI, it can create a brand new, totally original picture of a cat wearing a tiny top hat on the moon, if you ask it to. See the difference? It's a creator, not just a finder. So this amazing technology has landed education in a real classic dilemma. On one side, you have this unbelievable promise to completely revolutionize how we teach and how kids learn. But on the other, you have some very, very real dangers that have a lot of educators, well, they're deeply concerned. Let's take a look at both sides of this coin. First up, the promise. And instead of just listing these things off, let's actually picture it. Imagine a history teacher. She needs a quiz on the Roman Empire for her class tomorrow. Instead of spending an hour writing it, she just asks an AI to make one. Done, in seconds. And then, for a student who's having trouble with a textbook, she asks the AI to rewrite a whole chapter at a simpler reading level. This is the dream, right? A tireless assistant for every single teacher and a personal tutor for every single student.
But then, there's the flip side. This is the part that keeps principals and teachers up at night. Some have even started calling it the homework apocalypse. And when you think about it, you can see why. That classic 5-paragraph essay, the take-home math problems, an AI can do all of that perfectly in the blink of an eye. And the fear is real. Are we just outsourcing the hard work of thinking? Are we risking the very skills, like writing and problem solving, that school is supposed to teach? It's a huge shift.
And this slide, wow, this really shows you the disconnect that's happening right now. Data from the Pew Research Center makes it crystal clear. Students and teachers are seeing this from two completely different planets. Almost 70% of teens say, yeah, using AI for research, totally fine. Meanwhile, only a tiny 6% of teachers think it's a net positive. This isn't just a small difference of opinion, they're basically playing two different games with two different sets of rules in the same classroom.
So the debate about cheating is the obvious one, right? But beyond that, there are these deeper, more systemic risks we have to talk about. Because when we bring AI into our school systems, we're also inviting in some really serious challenges around student privacy, fairness, and educational equity.
So get this, we've basically handed our teachers one of the most powerful and complex tools ever created with no instruction manual. An Education Week survey found that a staggering 58% of teachers, almost 6 out of 10, have received zero training on artificial intelligence. They're not just flying blind here, they are operating heavy machinery in the dark.
And that lack of training can have really serious consequences. I mean, imagine a well-meaning teacher trying to use ChatGPT to help write a student's special education plan. Without realizing it, they could input that student's name, their disability, their personal details. That data can get absorbed by the AI model, potentially violating federal privacy laws and exposing that kid's sensitive information forever. This is not some hypothetical, maybe one-day risk. It's a very real danger, right now.
And this training gap, it's not being felt equally everywhere. A survey from the RAND Corporation found something pretty troubling. In school districts that serve mostly white students, about 27% had provided some kind of AI training for teachers. But in districts serving mostly students of color, that number plummets to just 11%. So let's be really clear about what that means. The students who already tend to have more resources are now getting a head start in the age of AI, while other students are getting left even further behind. This isn't just a training gap, it's a widening chasm of opportunity.
And you might be wondering, is this just a problem in the US? Not even close. This is a global issue. Education systems all over the world are in this mad dash, this scramble to figure out how to handle this technology. So let's zoom out for a second and see what that global policy scramble actually looks like.
An OECD survey of 18 different countries shows a really interesting pattern. Half of them have published some kind of non-binding guidance, suggestions. Another 7 are in the middle of writing their own. But then look at that last bar. 0. Not a single one of these countries has passed any formal, legally binding regulation. So what does that tell you? It tells you that everybody is in the same boat. They're all trying to build the plane while it's already in the air.
And what are these countries most worried about? Well, this table breaks it down pretty clearly. It is absolutely no surprise that data protection and privacy is number one. I mean, every single one of the 17 countries polled said this was a top priority. We are talking about our children's data, after all. But look at the other big concerns: bias in the AI, transparency, the potential loss of skills. These are deep ethical questions about what we even want education to be, and every country is grappling with them.
Okay, so we've seen the good, the bad, and the globally confused. And it's really easy to feel overwhelmed by all this. But here's the good news. We're not starting from scratch. Educators and experts are already working on a roadmap for a future where AI is a helpful tool, not a threat. So let's take a look at what that path forward could actually be.
So what does a smart, responsible AI rollout look like? Well, it seems to come down to 3 key steps. First, school districts have to act as a filter. They need to vet these tools and approve only the ones that are safe and protect student privacy. Second, we have to bridge that huge 58% training gap with a massive investment in our teachers. And third, students need crystal clear rules. Think of it like a driver's ed class for AI. Here's how you use it, here are the things that are out of bounds, and here's how you properly give credit when you use it.
In the meantime, teachers on the ground are getting so creative. I love this quote from a French teacher. Instead of trying to ban AI, which is pretty much impossible, savvy educators are completely redesigning their assignments. They're going back to good old pen and paper for in-class essays. Or they're giving these hyper-specific prompts like, argue whether it's unfair that the B hallway has more windows than the C hallway. ChatGPT has no idea. This is what's so cool. The challenge of AI is forcing us to rethink what we're actually teaching. It's not about memorizing facts anymore. It's about creativity and critical thinking about the world right in front of you.
Which of course brings us to the biggest, most fundamental question of all. For centuries, the main job of school has been to give students the answers. But what happens when we live in a world where an AI can provide any answer to any question in an instant? What is school for then? Maybe its new and maybe even more important role is to teach us all how to ask the right questions. And that right there just might be the most human skill we have.